Thank you, Bo.
Exciting.
Awesome. So cool.
Right?
All right, so moving on to
so password hashes, right? We've talked about these in the past. We've done a couple of episodes on password cracking, like password hash cracking, and we talked about that a little bit last week when we were talking about Mimikatz and how it not only gets those LM and NTLM hashes that we're familiar with, but also the plain text passwords. So that takes a little bit of doing, and if you just want something a little bit more covert, something that happens like real quick, without the ability for the user to get interactive and stop it, because it does take like 15 seconds. So with that command window up, you can obfuscate it, you can minimize it, but still, like if a user was like, oh no, what's happening, and like, closed it, then, it could be a bad day.
Of course.
But we can get the hash in just like a blink of an eye, and then it's like, wait a second, what just happened, right? So I'm going to show how that works, but we do need to understand a little bit about Windows shares, which we use here at the studio.
Yes, we do.
SMB, or server message block, sometimes called CIFS, or Common Internet File System. It's predominantly a Windows thing. We're talking about Microsoft Windows Networks here. We're talking about the file sharing that we know and love on TCP port 445, which is typically blocked on the internet, but you'll see why if you're doing a pen test, this is the quickest way to get a hash. So let's go ahead and talk about, well, let me show you an example, because you've probably already seen this. So on the right, I have my boring Windows box, and on the left, I've got my Kali Linux box. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the run line, or I could do this straight from Explorer. But if you just type in / an IP address, so in this case 10.73.31.74, we have a NAS here at the studio.
So in this case, it brings up our NAS.
Exactly. You'll notice the first thing it wants to do is log in. Now here's the thing, if it's a domain, a lot of times it's going to go ahead and just like send the credentials that it has on file. If obviously this isn't accepting the credentials it has on file for this particular user, this user is, who am I, is DK on this workstation, right? So the workstation's name win- all that stuff, and the username is DK. And as we saw last week, the password is lame password.
So your NAS isn't recognizing this workstation?
No, because, well, if the NAS, for instance, had a user called DK with the password lame password, it would have authenticated.
Oh.
Our NAS doesn't. So I have to go back here and I'll be like Darren, and I'll just, log in, and you'll see that there we go. Here's, here's our NAS.
All of our shows.
Right, here's all our shows. You can go into HackTip and check out episodes of HackTip. Anyway, that's how we organize our stuff here at Hack5. But part of that process is to authenticate. So we're going to use that to our advantage. And we're going to do it with Samba.
Oh, yay,
Because remember how
Samba.
last week we were talking about going to Vienna and how we're going to do the waltz? I figured that you would like to Samba.
Oh my gosh, I'm leaving right now.
Okay, so Samba is a free software implementation of SMB for Unix, Linux, Solaris, BSD, etc. And Core Security, I love those guys. They host this thing called Impact. You can come back. It's okay. I'm not going to try to dance with you.
Okay.
We might tango later. Okay. Trying to tell them.
I don't like dancing, man.
All right.
Dance with your imaginary friend. Over
there you go. Okay. Does that mean that, anyway, later. So, Impact. Impacket. Impacket. We're off the rails a little bit. So Core Security, awesome guys. They host this thing on their GitHub called Impacket. Is a collection of Python scripts for working with network protocols. And it's a fantastic resource if you want to start getting into, well, playing around with all sorts of fun, nefarious stuff. So I'll go into Impacket here, and you'll see that there's all of these examples. One